What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. This is a little channel I started in order to share with all of you guys about all of the books that I read. I do that in hopes of helping you find your next read. Now, today is Friday, and on Fridays, I like to check in about my weekend books. Everything that I read, what I'm still reading, and what I plan to read next. I had a really successful week. I got some books finished. Most notably, we're just going to start with this one because I am so proud of this accomplishment. I finally finished The Count of Monte Cristo. Guys, this was amazing. I did read the unabridged version. When I reread it, it will definitely be abridged. I don't think the unabridged is something I need to experience more than once. I really feel that the unabridged version just added to the atmosphere and just a lot of the ambiance, so to speak, to the story, but it definitely had a fantastic payoff. I loved the slow burn. Just, oh my gosh, it was so intricate and elegant and just... it slapped. It really did. It slapped. I loved it. I will definitely do a reread, but like I said, definitely going to be abridged. The audiobook is a must. Just a must. Although the narrator I really enjoyed did the unabridged. I wonder if he also did an abridged. You know, I might have to change my mind on that reread. I might have to do unabridged after all. I also finished my reread of Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're someone who writes down or highlights or marks quotes when you're reading, just stuff that really resonates with your heart, with your soul, here's what you can do. On page 1, you start with the first sentence. Ships at a distance have every man's wish on board. For some, they come in with the tide. For others, they sail forever on the horizon, never out of sight, never landing until the watcher turns his eyes away in resignation, his dreams mocked to death by time. That is the life of men. That's where you start highlighting, right there. And then on the last page, here was peace. She pulled in her horizon like a great fishnet, pulled it from around the waist of the world and draped it over her shoulder. So much of life in its meshes. She called in her soul to come and see. And that's where you stop highlighting. You just highlight all of this and you're done. That's it. All of it. That is one of the most beautifully written pieces of literature I have ever read. It is an annual reread, no question. It is just a beautiful book. It's even more beautiful the second time around than it was the first. It's like I was taken in by some of the things that happened the first time I read it, and the second time other things stood out to me in a beautiful way, and I can't wait to see what happens when I read it again next year. Alright, so the third book that I finished was The Hot King by Josiah Bancroft. Third book in the Books of Babel series. I thought Arm of the Sphinx was going to be the book that peaked in the series. I honestly thought it was going to be the best of the 4. I didn't see how Bancroft could level up from that because what he did was just absolutely remarkable. What he did with The Hot King is I was halfway through reading it and I was like, this is a series that when somebody asked me, what is a series you wish you could reread again for the first time? This is going to be in that list. Just absolutely stunning with the things that he has done. I am just amazed at the creativity and the way that Josiah Bancroft has pushed this narrative forward. I don't even have any expectations for book 4. None of the things that have happened have been predictable in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, some of the things that I wanted to happen did in a roundabout way, not in the way that I thought, and he definitely made me think it wasn't going to happen. Excellent series, absolutely loved it. It's a steampunk fantasy that starts out with so much whimsy, gets dark really quick, and just stays there. I loved every minute of this journey. So that will take care of all of the books that I finished. Let's talk about what I am still working on. I am just about finished with Joe Abercrombie's short story collection for the First Law World, Sharp Ends. When I checked in with you guys last week, I was a little bit disappointed with how it started. that has completely changed. I now have begun to see a theme with what Abercrombie is doing with this, and it was totally unexpected. I didn't expect him to write a batch of short stories that, once you have read them all together, had their own story that just augmented in with the First Law world. And when I realized what was happening, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Now, is it my favorite of the First Law world? Absolutely not. I'm not done, but I honestly don't think it can pull off anything that would make me rank it higher than one of the First Law books, one of the First Law novels. But we'll see. I have definitely been wrong before, and I know I will be wrong plenty more times in the future. The other book that I'm still working on is Aching God by Mike Shell, the first book in the Iconoclast series. I think it is a trilogy. I'll have to check and make sure. I know there's 3 books out in it so far, and guys, this one has just proved to be a really fast read. I think I started it after I checked in with you guys last week, and I'm already over halfway done. I think I have a little under 200 pages left, so I fully expect to have this one finished by tomorrow at the latest. It's really good. It's very dark. If you're someone who loves to play Dungeons and Dragons or video games where you travel as a party and you go on quests and side quests, things of that nature, I think you would really enjoy it. But I've just really enjoyed the quest trope to it. A lot of people were shocked by something that happened in the second chapter, and I was kind of confused as to why they were so surprised by it, unless they might read on the softer side of fantasy. But this one definitely has some fighting in it, some violence. What I have seen of the magic system in this one so far is not anything I haven't seen before, at least not yet. If you're a fan of Indiana Jones, I think you would absolutely love this book. I've also done some work on Anna Karenina. I am now a couple of 100 pages deep into this one. This is probably the most accessible piece of Russian literature I've read. As far as novel, I did read the majority of Crime and Punishment, and I enjoyed the matter-of-fact writing style that Fyodor Dostoevsky had, but he was very repetitious, and he kept bringing readers to the brink of a resolution and then stepping back from the ledge, which that's what got on my nerves. That one really, I felt, would have been a much more enjoyable read if it had been about 350 pages. After that, I read the Brothers Karamazov, which was definitely a more approachable style. This one is my next rung up on the Russian ladder of literature, and I am loving it. It's just very accessible. The chapters are short and bite-sized, and I'm also really intrigued by the story. I kind of thought that was going to be, if I had an issue with this book, it was going to be its subject matter, not the way that it was written or how it was presented. I knew by Tolstoy's short stories I was going to like his writing style, but this one about a young lady who is pretty high up in society, married, has a kid, and ends up fooling around with another man, and I thought, that's kind of gossipy. Am I going to really like this? Like, how is this going to come across? It's really funny because I am really enjoying it. I am just eating it up. So that is the 3 books I finished, the 3 I'm still working on. I probably will finish Sharp Ends and Aching God tomorrow. So what am I going to read next? So I finally got the first 2 volumes of Uzumaki by Junji Ito from my library. I am waiting on the 3rd one. Someone had checked that one out when I tried to get the series, and then someone else had a hold on it right behind it. Can you believe the nerve? Like, guys, don't you know I need to read this series? It's on my TBR. I have to get it read in October. So whoever it was, they finished it. It's on its way to me. So in the next couple of days, once that one arrives, I'll be starting my journey through this little horror manga. I am really excited. I will also be picking up The Unwelcome by Jacob Stephen Moore. I have the physical copy here. I also have the audiobook. The author sent me both so I could do an immersion read. I have cheated and listened to a little bit of the audiobook. I wanted to just get a feel for the narrator and see what I thought. And I will be picking this one up because I wanted to just really have time to sit and get into it. And then for my next fantasy read, I will be starting The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. This one is my patron pick of the month. The Wheel of Destiny chose Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads to pick me a book to read for October, and this is the one he chose, which worked out really great because I had added it to my TBR after I saw his review. So when he picked it, I mean, he literally did not think 1 second. I said, "Hey, Andrew, the Wheel of Names chose you," and he goes, "The Ember Blade." I was like, okay. So there we go. So I'm really excited. I've seen a lot of other booktubers talk about this book ever since he picked it for me, so it's just really got me hyped up to read it. And so that will take care of my week in books. Guys, what did you get up to reading this week? Anything good? How's your spooky reads going? Today marks the middle of the month. How's everybody's TBRs going? How many books have you gotten read this month? I have a very low number, but it's because I started like 5 or 6 books at once. I don't know why, because I am just ridiculous that way. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the books that I have read or am reading this week. I hope the rest of your Friday goes really well. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in the next one.